Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, July 1st, 2021. Happy July, everyone. The first trading day of the new month and of the new quarter. We have new quarterly pivots, new monthly pivots to contend with here. And the previous month and the previous quarter closed right on the highs. You can see the high and the close very close to each other. Whenever that circumstance occurs, there is a tendency to see some sort of early pullback that month into the pivot range. But again, as this market has remained very bullish, any pullback remains a buying opportunity for a continuation higher throughout the rest of the month. Please join me later on, by the way, for our monthly market outlook. It's later on this afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch the link to the Zoom meeting or the Zoom webinar down below in the description. We're going to discuss seasonality at this time of year. We're also going to discuss candidates with the monthly and quarterly pivots, and we're also going to look at future stocks, crypto, and take your recommendations as well. So please join me later on this afternoon at 4 p.m. Central. So right now, range-bound market, an impulse sell-off from the highs this morning in the overnight trade. That gives us a key range to use for the rest of the day. So the day's high, the day's low, very important here today. Look to fade the edges with an upward bias. Again, if there is some sort of pullback to begin the month, that could be a great opportunity to pick it up for a continuation higher the rest of the month. All right, let's take a look here at the NQ. The NQ right now with a narrow range. Trading 65% of ADR within a 3-day narrow range. You can see again very similar to the ES. Price closed very near the high of the quarter and of the month. It was in a tremendous rally for the NQ this past month. It started with a lower value with a change of bias signal, and the first pullback into that pivot range was an opportunity to buy. You can see failed new lows along the way. The pivot, the PIMA trigger zone holding that support. Very, very good month. A high range of movement last month gives us a pretty wide pivot range for the month, and that means we could go sideways a little bit, or we could see another buy the dip inside the pivot range for a continuation higher. If there's any failure here, perhaps we trade in the range a little bit here, from 14.2 to 14.6 to digest the recent rally, and then from there look to continue onward. So right now, looking to see how it begins the month, but at the moment looking at a bit of selling pressure at the month's high, previous month's high and close, which could open up a bit of weakness. Now from an intraday perspective, another strong sell-off from the top of the day, which is right at the previous session's high. That gives us a good key range. Use the high and low as a key range high and low, as that could provide great opportunities throughout the rest of the day with targets into the end of the week. So continue to watch the day's high and low. All right, taking a look now at crude oil. You'll see here with crude, it's up nearly 3.33%. Huge breakout move to begin the day here. That is exactly what we were talking about with regards to this narrow range. We talked about before that narrow range was about a 7-day narrow range that was developing, and that could lead to a major breakout here ahead. So if we look here, put it back to 7, there's that 7-day narrow range we mentioned. It could be about a 5-point move to come. Today alone, we've already gotten a significant move of 2.6 points. So already more than half of that 5-day or 5-point range is already in play. It's already a full-on stop run day. We talked about how bullish this market has been, and we were likely headed towards 76s pretty soon based on a breakout. And here we are reaching 75.99 so far today. We had the 76.72, which has been our key range target, and earlier last month I mentioned that 80 is now in view based on the yearly pivots as well. So right now, tremendous breakout. You want to see this thing hold these highs, if not extend a bit higher. After an explosive move like this, you tend to see price build a range at highs and try to maintain those gains into the close. So we'll see how this plays out, but it's tremendous breakout here for crude oil. By no means do you want to see crude close back below the midpoint if you are a bull. If that starts to happen, bears have rejected those highs, and we could see a pullback coming that could be significant. So right now, very, very strong. All right, let's take a look here at gold futures. Gold right here doing its best to hold the 1760, 1765 zone. I mentioned yesterday it was close, on the ropes, but not quite broken down. It could still see a lower low failure, and it's doing its best right now to hold it. You've seen price now go back above the 1773 April FOMC key level there, and what I mentioned yesterday was a rejection of this low. If it manages to reject, then you tend to go back toward the previous highs. That's right here, just shy of those 1800s. So we could be looking at a move up toward that zone. Now there's a clear downtrend here. The PIMA trigger zone's clearly trending lower. Lower value relationship on the pivot range, month over month, and quarter. Actually, quarter over quarter looks like it's overlapping higher. So right now, any bounce could be an opportunity to sell it again. So this bounce could be short term, but right now holding that 1760, 1765 zone, and could be headed higher in the near term. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room.